Let's do it. Hello, everybody, and welcome in to another exciting episode of Bloody Good Horror. My name's Eric, and I'll be your host for this evening, where we will be reviewing Drop. Something's been dropped, all right, and
Drop it like it's hot.
we're going to talk about it tonight. Joining me first up from Manhattan, New York City, please welcome John Schnars to the show.
Hello, Eric.
CEO of the horror section. You never would have let this happen, John. Is that what you're bringing to me tonight?
Whoa, hold on. No comment. I'll save it for the review.
Next up from Indiana, please welcome Casey.
Hello.
And last up tonight from Oakland, California. How's that meth lab situation going, Rachel?
I mean, we haven't seen them since, so...
Cleared out now?
Not well,
already for rent for $5,000 a month?
Depends on your point of view.
I mean,
The
it
output
comes
is
with the
down.
meth lab. You don't have to install your own.
Perfect.
True.
Yeah.
You'd rather it be in the neighboring house than your own house, right? So
Now,
It
like at
depends
least
on
two
how
or doors.
entrepreneurial you are. I don't know.
You need a couple doors down just in case of explosions.
oh, okay.
All right. Let's do it. Let's take a quick break and get into Drop.
This is it, Jennifer. Your big breaking TV. From the prime time. Main feature.
Quick tangent, John. Did you see the trailer for Ari Aster's new movie yet?
No, negative. I saw the poster that
He
some- I
made
think
what
Rachel
looks to
shared.
be the most depressing COVID movie of all time. Doesn't
Sounds
that sound
about
fun?
I mean,
Sign me up.
you've seen his other films, right?
Yeah, I'm like, what's-
I had Beau's Afraid at number one.
You
I
should
know.
Let's not forget.
confirm.
And it is one
forget.
of the darkest 3 hours of my life.
Yeah. I was right at home.
I mean, maybe it'll be like, it'll inoculate us from our COVID era trauma. Like, it'll take us so dark past the point that what we actually experienced will feel in comparison less so. I don't know.
I mean, that is what I actually know nothing about this movie. I'm now gonna have to go. When you say it's a COVID movie, is it explicitly about COVID? Oh, all right. Well, that's.
I mean, that period of time and where we were in terms of our mass psychosis around it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, who doesn't?
Wait,
want to
have we
relive that
moved
era?
past that? What? Did you see the RFK press conference
Yeah.
from earlier today? What?
No.
God, I have not.
The hell would I do that to myself?
No, I mean I didn't see it. I just read.
I'll be right back. I got to go walk into the sea about something real quick.
Well, if you would prefer a silly little trifle, let me introduce you to a film called Drop.
Hey oh!
John, please bring us the word of the day.
Eric, today's word is plunge. That's Plunge. Plunge. Lot of definitions. I'll give you a couple here. Jump or dive quickly and energetically, which I like the energetically. Push or thrust quickly. And then it can be used as a noun, which is an act of jumping or diving into water. I was curious where this, the etymology, so to speak, and comes to us from the Latin plumbum. Plumbum.
Nailed it.
Like
Plumbum. One word.
crumb bum.
But, which means
Boom,
lead.
boom.
Lead, and then that goes to the old French plonger, which means to thrust down. But those of you, the chemistry fans, may know, I believe lead on the periodic table is Pb. And so there you go. Connecting chemistry to linguistics and everything in between.
John, tell me about Drop.
Drop comes to us from the Blumhouse.
Oh, okay. That tracks.
Also comes to us from Platinum Dunes, which I don't know if
did.
you all...
I
Yeah.
did catch that. What a weird name to see in 2025.
I mean, they're making stuff, but
Not an Andrew Bernarski insight.
the Michael Bay, Jason Blum, both producers on this here film, directed by Christopher Landon. Happy Death Day, Freaky, some other things. He did one of the Paranormal Activity.
Wrote a bunch of them too.
Oh, did he? Okay.
I wondered if the Toby kid in this was that an homage to the Toby of, because he wrote almost all. I think he wrote all but the
Toby.
first one.
Oh my god. I bet you're right.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's funny.
interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't know
he is the writer of the television that you despise.
I also
This
super
is the man.
That was,
I also
that's
the
two, I
brainchild.
think. Or maybe
super
three.
forgot that was the demon's name in those movies was Toby.
Yeah.
It's just like a demon. Did they ever decide that was the demon?
For the first 3 movies, at least, it's a demon.
Yeah, I can't. I mean, if you asked me to like recount the lore of Paranormal Activity,
That's why I'm
I
here,
don't think
John.
I could. Written
Rachel.
by this film, written by Gillian Jacobs, but not the actress Gillian Jacobs, or not the one we know from Community. She wrote this Gillian Jacobs wrote Fantasy Island. Remember that little ditty? As well as
I saw that actually. Did we do that?
You must have.
We
Because it was
did,
kind of
yeah.
a thriller, right?
we
yeah,
did.
yeah.
We
Yep.
did. And then the Truth or Dare movie, which maybe we did, but I don't think I saw it. So if we did it, I didn't cover
I
it.
vaguely remember that.
Gillian Jacobs, and then another gentleman, Chris Roach. Yeah. So the basic outline here is we have Megan Fahey playing Violet. So I mean, I know her primarily from the first season of White Lotus. I'm sure she has done other things. I don't know that she's done other things in the horror space. But Megan Fahey plays a mom who we see in the very first scene of the film is a victim of domestic violence, domestic abuse, and then but we then sort of like fast forward to her living, now as a single mother with her son. It's not 100% explained what happened to the husband after the scene that we're sort of exposed to, but we see it then intercut throughout the film, and it sort of underpins a lot of her characterization, let's say, and so she's getting ready for basically her first date back on the market since her husband's death, and yeah, and she's excited. Her sister comes to babysit. There's like some getting ready, but we're really like right into the action of this date, and the rest of the film takes place almost in real time, where she is at this date. She's receiving airdrops, hence the name of the film, Drop. They are they're sort of like
Settle a
Sorry?
discussion. Do you know how to send a drop?
Yeah, yes,
Okay.
I do.
Just curious.
Well, I mean, like you
I
have
never know
to,
how
like,
far your technological,
is that a question for me specifically? Because
Yes.
but like you can
It's like,
only
don't
I
you
only
need a
do it when
VCR for that.
I only ever airdrop when like someone's like, hey, send me this like large file, and then you like airdrop, and like they're discoverable because they're nearby. I've never like pulled it up and been like, ooh, let me like send a drop to just like
This is
let
a
me
fairly
see what's-
common thing, like creepers sending drops out to random people in their vicinity who have their thing open.
I think mine is set to not discoverable unless I like sort of like, click
Yeah.
the thing. So no one's ever tried to.
I didn't know it had that map function. that
Well,
they showed.
I don't think
Or
it
is that
has
made up?
That's made up for the film.
Okay.
Because the
Digi
drops
drop.
are happening in a like they're not happening. Obviously, they're not like, using like
And you can't like
iOS.
ping someone's location and like
Yeah, they're using what is it? There's like some ridiculous name for the app that she's using. It's called like Dropper or something like that. But
Digi drop.
Digidrop.
Digidrop. Sorry. All right. Sorry. I mean, is that less ridiculous than Dropper? I don't know.
No, I just keep saying.
Sorry. I didn't
Digidrop.
Digidrop. All right.
It's
So
pleasant
she's
to
on the
say.
date. She's receiving the Digidrops. She's at this like restaurant and in a very high location in Chicago. Where is she?
Chicago.
It's
Yeah.
weird. So I was like Googling it. They shot all the exteriors in Brooklyn. All the
Mhm.
interiors were shot in Ireland. So I'm like, oh, okay, it must be like New York City. And then they get 30 seconds of the movie. He's like, oh, you're the blah, blah, blah in Chicago. I'm like, why wouldn't you just fucking shoot the exteriors in Chicago? Like, what the fuck?
It is weird.
I've been in New York and Chicago. They're not that similar.
Yeah,
Other
I mean,
than just cities.
there.
Anyway, carry on. I'm sorry.
It does not matter.
It's set in
what city
Chicago.
they're in. It's like it's in city. um, she's receiving these drops. They keep sort of they're like increasingly threatening, but it ramps pretty quickly to, hey, we're in your home. We're basically holding your son and sister hostage, and you need to murder or kill the person that you're on a date with, or we're gonna like hurt your family. And that's the setup for the film. And the rest of the movie is her interacting with / trying to work her way through this threatening scenario, trying to unravel what's going on. She knows that the person dropping using Digidrop has to be nearby because that's how Digidrop works. But otherwise, that's it. Yeah. So,
All right.
uh-huh.
Digidrop. Casey.
This would have been a much better title for this movie.
Casey, what did you think? Yeah, what happened?
Ultimately, I didn't enjoy this movie. I've got some reasons I'll get into. I thought plot-wise it was kind of dumb by the end of it. I thought the first act was slow getting into it. There were some good parts once we got to the restaurant, and I didn't, being the old man, I didn't have problems with the text being shown on screen, stylized and stuff like that. That was all cool. The ending, I thought, kind of wah-wah with the unmasking. It's like kind of out of nowhere, and then but in the middle of this, I thought the cast was good. I didn't know. I have no experience with either of these actors, Megan Fahey or whoever, the guy that played the boyfriend that she's on a date with. So they're new to me. I thought they were fine for what they had to work with. But my biggest problem with this movie, and it hit me hard, I was surprised, is all of that section once they get into that restaurant plays directly to my anxieties, and it was in the editing of this movie. It wasn't the plot, because throughout there's a good 30-minute section of this movie where these two are on this date and they sit down, they get about 5 words out or 2 sentences, and then something happens and somebody has to get up, the conversation gets interrupted. They come back, the next one says, they talk for 2 sentences. The next
it's
one
like
says,
you're watching the false start of their date 55 times. Yeah. Like
yes,
over an
and
hour.
that drove me nuts. It had me squirming in my seat, and to the point where I thought this is kind of dumb, but I know I missed out on stuff because I was so uncomfortable with this, because I literally had to look away at my phone. It's something with those. This is gonna sound like a joke, but the talking over stuff really is something that grates inside of me, and it felt
It's very
like that.
awkward to watch. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm with you. Rachel.
Well, I'm going to say some positive things about this movie. Because, okay, there are things that I did like about it. There were things that didn't work for me, and I think we'll probably agree on a lot of those and get into some of those. But I think where this movie works is not so much on the surface, but what it's doing metaphorically and what it's doing thematically. I think it does some kind of clever, subtle work around describing what it is like to be in an abusive relationship. Not with the textual stuff, that stuff is it's a little Lifetime movie-ish, but the actual dynamic that she's in and the way that she has to navigate the situation that she's in, I think does a good job of of giving you a subjective experience of what an abuse situation feels like, in that a lot of times you hear things lobbied against people who are in abusive relationships, like, why don't you just leave? And we see her here quite trapped in the situation, very like systematically isolated, and then using what skills she has, what ingenuity she has in order to survive. Like, all of these other survival tactics that come forward throughout the situation are ones that women in abusive situations often are things they have to hone. So on that level, I think this movie does actually work. I think her interactions with the bartender speak to that as well. I think they're emblematic of the ways that like women sometimes have to move through the world and rely on one another with like whisper campaigns in order to survive. All of that I think works. I like a single location thriller generally. I think there's a lot of fun to be had in those. There's a lot of cat and mouse that happens in this. And I did like the visual stuff of what is happening on her phone, which could be quite dull, the way it's integrated into the screen. Particularly there's a moment where she's in a bathroom stall that visually I thought was like kind of a fun way to illustrate what she's experiencing, like, and literally wall her into this confined, like, claustrophobic space, that so you're kind of understanding how she's feeling inside and visually kind of cool on the screen. So there were things that I really liked about it. I think the final act definitely goes off the rails. It gets very silly. But up until that point, I appreciate that we get to like see some of Violet's ingenuity, her quick thinking, those kinds of things. I think ultimately your enjoyment of this movie is going to be proportional to how much you can hand wave away like enormous plot holes. But yeah, there is some fun to be had here.
Like,
you know.
why wouldn't you just shoot him in the head? Which they know it's a problem because they hand wave it away in the guy's monologue at the end. But it's like, yeah, but that doesn't track. Like, just shoot.
Yeah.
Shoot him.
Yeah.
I agree. Did not love that part, but I'm trying to be a counter narrative to what I think is about to unfold on this show tonight.
Rachel, all I need from you is authenticity. You don't have to counter narrative us.
Oh, I know. And I did feel kind of mixed about it. Like, I think ultimately it's quite silly, but I think that there are some interesting things in the film that, you know, I could sit here and tear it apart, but there are some things I like about it.
Jonathan.
So I'm alongside Rachel here insofar as I saw this on Sunday night. I had a couple of adult beverages before I went to the film.
On a Sunday, John.
It's the start of spring break here. I think your kids are probably on spring break, and I had family visiting, and
Part of my tension, John, might be from the 3 straight days I spent working while I had 3 kids in
just
the house.
examine that. And
Yeah.
you know.
Oh, I've been examining it.
So
don't you worry.
I had the situation where I had family in from out of town. We did like a whole day of like doing shit with the family, which was capped off by taking the kids to a bowling alley in New York City, which you can probably imagine what that's like. So I was having some adult beverages, and then I said to my wife, I'm like, I got to see Drop. I'm going to go to the movie theater.
Sorry, I'm out. It's all you.
Sunday night, I got a nice tall boy at the movie theater because they sell those now there as well. I sat down. The movie theater was almost full. People were vibing on this movie way more than I expected. And here's the thing. It's brisk. It moves very quickly. And so I was there. I was letting myself go with the whole
They're
Drop
economical with how
experience.
quickly they get into it, for sure. And it's a clean 90, so...
Yeah, they're into it very quickly. Look, like, the plot hole stuff is hitting you, fast and furious. But
well, and they can't help it because the plot holes are at the very heart of the whole concept of the movie. So like all they can do is just hand wave it away. You know what I mean? It's not even like they could have written themselves out of the corner. They started in the corner.
If you have to kill someone, this is the literally dumbest way to do it in the history of the world.
How did they know they'd end up on a date together? Did I miss that part?
I assume they cloned his phone, right? Like, there's a lot of clone.
And they just sat around and waited
happening
for like. I love when he calls her the widow killer. Is that what he called her? Like, come on, dude. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Finish,
you're
John.
look, you're skipping all the way to the end.
I'm sorry.
I didn't walk out of this movie saying that was great. But I had a good time. Like I said, I was shocked that the people that were in the theater, like there was clapping at the end. A lot of it was like laughing clap. Like I think they were having sort of an ironic good time.
Yeah, that's
I
fair.
also maybe we can put a pin in this and like pick it up at the end. I took my kids to see Minecraft this weekend as well. And that was like the most chaotic experience I've had in a theater in a fairly long time. But like in both situations, people were having a good time in the theater. And so I was just like happy for that to be happening. And I had some adult beverages, so I don't know, that's sort of
Sounds
like
like
where I
several.
ended up.
Sounds like
Yeah,
several.
so
Yeah.
John knows how to live, y'all.
that's what you got to do when you're with your family at a bowling game. So, yeah.
Maybe my problem is I stopped drinking. Maybe that's what my problem is.
Well, Eric, I could have told you that years ago.
Something about this film triggered me from the moment I saw the trailer, to a degree that I've literally for the last week been soul searching, going into this review, just being like, why did just the trailer for this movie making me instantly angry? And the best thing I can come up with is that it's just very cliche. Now, to your point, Rachel, like I have seen sort of single setting movies that I've really enjoyed, but it is really a genre just full of tropes. I think Casey had done something really interesting. I fucking hate movies that traffic in awkwardness as their like sole thing they're hanging everything on. And that's the first hour of the film it is a trope of like, I just watched one of these like a couple of months ago. I was talking about here, the Netflix one with Jason Bateman, where he's the bad guy and he's on with Taron Egerton, who's like a TSA agent.
Oh, yeah.
Similar kind of
Carry
deal where
On.
he's in his ear and he's
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna kill your fucking girlfriend. Like, so have we ever seen this at a restaurant on a roof? No, but the tropes are very clear, and it's like you're pulling from the same kind of bag all the time. And this one in particular, whereas that movie's also really dumb and makes no sense, but like it's all in service of tension, whereas this is all in service, not all of it, but most of it is like awkwardness. Like, yes, there's the tension of like her family, her son might die, but it's really what I feel like is a big problem with this film is like an hour long of this stop and start of the date is what kind of Casey's getting at. It's repetitive at some point that they don't get into. It doesn't like accelerate really almost until it's ready to just dive right into the third act. Really, the closest thing you get to that is when she poisons the musician guy. That's really the first time it sort of escalates a little bit. So I don't know, dude. It's just, I do think it's a fine sit. It's fine. And I do think there's a world where like, this is a fun couples date night movie where you just go and laugh at some shit and have some fun.
Well, I
for
think
sure.
most of the people in my theater were on dates. That was like the only
Totally.
conclusion I could come to because
Why, of course, that's the whole plot of the movie itself, right?
Single
Like it lends
dudes
itself to it.
not enjoying themselves as much.
I
What's
just,
that look like though?
Rachel, I appreciate your perspective on the domestic violence part of it all. My feeling watching it was it feels really cheap and manipulative in a film because you're right. Like it's important to tell stories about these things. And there are like threads that feel very sort of like authentic just from what I know of that experience. Like I've known people, but it's like in this movie, it feels very like, like the final girl whose dad is dead. It's like they're just trying to really pull at it's like it's shorthand for empathy or
Dude,
something. You know what
how
I mean?
about
Like I
they
would
show
love
the
to see
kid
this.
in the
Listen, hold on.
scene?
I would
It
love
was
to see
brutal.
this treated seriously in a serious film. It feels so weirdly out of place to me in this film that is so dumb and so badly written.
I agree. I think it's ironic that the actual textual discussion of abuse and all of that stuff is real, in my opinion, not well handled. While at the same time, the experience that you're having of her emotional experience of what is happening in the movie does a much better job of
And a
telling
lot of that
story.
is a lot of that is a
Yeah, I can see
testament to
that.
her performance too. I think like she's a good actress. She's pretty charismatic. She does a good job with the role. The dude is fine. They don't have a lot of chemistry together, but it's hard to when the whole plot is about it's awkward and you can't connect and talk to each other, right?
She's there
Which
to
is
kill
why
him. Yeah.
there's a series of just unbelievably laughable moments in this movie. The first one is when she kisses him to get him to stay there. And the reason why it's like a moment, it's like such a pregnant moment, so to speak, where like he's going to leave. And the guy's like, if you let this guy leave, your son is dead. And so you see it coming, they telegraph, you see it coming a mile away, like she's going to grab him and kiss him. But the whole thing goes in slow motion and then the lights dim down. And I'm like, am I supposed to be feeling like this is hot? Because it's actually the most awkward thing I've ever seen. Because there's no chance for these characters to have any chemistry because of the whole way you structure the movie. And so this just feels like a brother and a sister kissing, honestly. Like, and it's really weird right up until the end of the movie. Like, it's not necessarily the actor's fault. It's just that the whole film is structured in a way, like Casey's saying, you never feel that spark between them because you can't because of what's happening in the movie. I don't know. The kiss is ridiculous, like such a ridiculous moment in this movie. Rachel, you called out she gets to her house in like 0.5 seconds in the middle of the downtown.
This is where it just like it was never like 100% on the rails, but when we get into that final act, from the moment that a window sucks someone out like you're on a plane, I'm like, what is happening?
I mean,
and everything that follows is quite absurd. In my head canon, she fell out of the window and died, and like this is all like her fantasy of what happened next as she's plummeting to the earth.
It's not even that she gets sucked out the window, like she dents the window and then it like sucks all the glass out. Like that to me was the craziest part.
Are there any physicists in the audience that can tell me if this is something that really happens?
It's actually a vacuum in space. I don't know if you knew that. In space, there's a vacuum, so...
Yes.
Yeah.
Man, there was such
put a hole in it. I thought that would have broken the
God,
vacuum.
Thank you. Okay, I was literally just like, what? I didn't want to text you guys because I want to say for the show, and then I forgot it, and you just brought it. Yeah. Yeah, are they in the vacuum of space? She gets sucked right out of the fucking window. Like, like Star Wars style, like instantaneously.
Yeah. Somebody put her in the airlock all of a sudden. I'm like, what the hell
It's not even like she's running towards him and they fly out the window. Like
it's one of those restaurants that's pressurized. You know, it's like a positive pressure
big
environment.
City thing. We wouldn't know about.
John, to use a reference you surely know, it's like in Jason X when the girl gets sucked through the tiny porthole and her skin comes off. It's just like that.
Anybody else think that the dude on the date looked like Josh Hartnett?
There's vague Josh Hartnett.
You mean the guy she's on the date with?
Trap again.
Guys,
let's be honest.
His name is Brandon Sklener.
Thank you. I did look him up.
Yeah, he's been in stuff.
I think he's more like a bootleg James McAvoy. It was the vibe I got from him.
He's gonna have to start getting in the weight room if he wants to get him up to those James McAvoy roles.
That's right. Beefing up. Do you know, Rachel, the guy who ends up being the bad guy that we sort of gets revealed? I recognize him. He's like a character actor, but he doesn't usually look that old. So I'm like, where do I know this guy from?
I looked because I had the same exact experience. I'm like, where do I know this dude from? And he's just like someone who's in like every procedural. You know,
he was on Homicide: Life on the Streets.
Yes.
Eric.
I bet you. I used to love myself some Homicide.
That's probably where you know him from. Yeah.
That's like where Homicide: Life on the Streets is where you really find out that it separates the wheat from the chaff, John, from these people that are like, oh, I love Law and Order. It's like, oh yeah, how OG are you? Do you go back to fucking Homicide: Life on the Streets? You know
I've never seen it, so I'm not OG. I'm happy to admit.
It's an incredible show.
Here's the thing, Eric.
Do you know Maloney from SVU or from Homicide? That's I break people into two piles.
I know him from Oz, so
Homicide: Life on the Streets
predates
before both of those things. Yeah, we're talking the mid 90s.
But Reed Diamond is that actor. That's his.
Yeah, that's 100% where I know from. This movie, I don't fucking know, guys.
Well, here's the thing that's a little weird. So, like Christopher Landon, we've seen a lot of Christopher Landon. Like, I would have liked this to have been like. I think there's a version where it's like a little goofier, because like its
Like, I
best
wish
work,
it was all
Dude.
as camp as when they have the like mustache twirling contest at the table at the end with the flan or whatever he's eating. Like
Yeah.
that is
Yes.
the tone that I
The
wish
look on
this
his face
whole-ass
when he
movie-
realized, like,
Yeah.
ooh.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like I just recently rewatched Trap. And
Oh God,
I
don't
am
start with
double
Trap.
positive now that Trap is like a special movie, but it's all Josh Hartnett. It's all Josh Hartnett being the only person in the room realizing what movie he's in.
It's yeah,
And,
Eric.
like,
That's,
But
you
that's what
can't
this
give
movie
it
was
credit.
missing is a presence throughout that understands how silly this picture is.
But what's weird to me with Christopher Landon is like like his best stuff, like Happy Death Day is like pretty freaking goofy,
Pretty
but
good, pretty
also
silly
good.
movies,
Like
yeah.
you know,
But then comes along Happy Death Day 2.
it's fine.
Oh, I liked
mean,
Happy Death
and
Day
it's
too.
Yeah.
fine.
But I'll
This
tell
to
you
me
what,
feels
this-
like that sort of.
And I
But
don't
that
even
movie was goofier, wasn't it? If I remember, wasn't that
Yeah.
the
more
time travel
so,
one?
but more so that feeling like it came from this director. It really feels like it came from Blumhouse. I didn't even catch the Blumhouse logo. This is exactly the kind of middle of the road stuff. I feel like Blumhouse is just kind of at this point, it's their lane.
I can agree to that.
But I hate
got
to
that
say
feeling
it, like
too.
even Megan, which is like, again, Megan succeeds where it leans into the campiness. But is Megan like a top tier horror film? Like not so much.
Well,
It's just
even
a
if you
goofy,
wanted
fun
to-
thing.
I could see it working as a thriller too, kind of like I saw somebody on Slack compare this to Red Eye, with Wes Craven.
the Wes
except
Craven
for
movie.
it's
That
in a
movie
re-
is a great movie.
Yeah,
It's-
they compared it to that. You know, it's
I've never
Red
seen
Eye
Red
in a
Eye.
restaurant. And I
Jodie
think if
Foster's
they
in
would-
that in Red Eye.
No,
No.
What am I thinking of?
Rachel McAdams, I think, right?
Killian
Yeah.
Murphy is in it
Yeah,
as well.
Kit
yeah.
and Rachel McAdams. But those two, I mean, in comparison to this, if he wanted to do a thriller like that, you got to get rid of those quick shots in the middle in that date and give time for the plot to develop, you know, and for them to make discoveries and stuff like that. And it's just not there. So it's kind of half and half.
Yeah. It's also, I think it's very weird what's going on at home the whole time because you basically don't get any update from her apartment for like 80% of the movie.
Yeah.
And like, I guess that's fine. Like, but the whole threat is that her son is going to be killed. And so like, she's feeling that for sure. And we're just like believing it because we're told basically that it's happening. I think there was a way to potentially ramp up the tension there. I mean, you don't want to like show that kid. Just as a side note, the child actor did not work for me here, like in a very serious way. And
Doesn't
so-
do much. I
Have
mean, he doesn't have
He
much
didn't have
screen
much.
time,
Yeah.
Eric,
Excellent
I believe
RC
you have a
power
9-year-old.
handling.
She references that this is a 9-year-old child, and I like.
No,
I
eight,
was
but
like,
yeah.
is the child meant to be special needs? Because like the way the line is delivered, it's not a 9-year-old. Like that's like they wrote it like it's a 4-year-old, and then they got a 9-year-old actor to play.
One of the
the
funniest
part.
scenes in the movie is when the bad guy on the security camera just picks the kid up and throws him into the room and just and ties the door shut. I don't know why. It's just so silly. And the whole like fight at the end, like, oh my God, it's so silly.
Yeah. You know where that tension was, John? The 10 minutes it took that guy in the house to untie his knot on the door while she drove 10 miles.
That explains it. Okay, see, we needed like an screen and screen of him trying like fucking with that knot
I know.
while she's
Yeah.
driving through town. Now we have tension.
Eric, you did mention that this was a situation where you had seen the trailer and were angered coming in even before, you know.
Angered's not the right word. Now I am. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
But like, it was just sort of like, okay, like you see what this thing is coming from 100 miles away, right?
It's
Like,
well, look, I think the trailer shows the entire movie.
Yeah.
There's no part
Yeah.
of this movie that you do not see in the trailer. Like fully none. Up to and including her flying out the window because of the vacuum created by the fucking
Yeah, because of the
window
vacuum of
explodes.
space.
Yes.
That to be fair, that restaurant was really high up.
Yeah.
John.
where
So,
the vacuums exist.
out of the
Yes.
atmosphere. Yeah.
Yes.
Where the vacuums
It was like the 30th floor. Like it's really not that high in the grand scheme.
If
of
we start
things.
seeing some cracking behind John, everybody brace.
I'm on the second floor here, but I have been in tall buildings, and you can open the window and nothing happens.
And not be jettisoned?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's crazy.
They must be pumping in a vacuum, and I don't
It's
know. what to
wild.
tell you.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Drop. So drop 2. You're not signing up, Eric, is what you're saying?
I think I'm all set. Yeah, I think I'm good. That would be funny though. Maybe if they do a sequel, I'm in. What would it be?
It's like she's just
Hiccup?
too good of a target for killing people that she goes on dates with.
Right, it's just the same story again because now she's killed 2 people. And I'm like, well,
Yeah.
What
I
if
bet I
it's
could get her to do
right
it this time.
on Josh Hartnett's character who was escaped the end of Trap.
Yes.
crossover.
Oh,
Head
yes.
to head.
Trap.
Yo, okay.
Trap v Trap.
Yes, exactly.
Drop trap.
Yes. Yes.
Oh man.
Did you drop 2?
Yeah.
The trappening.
Did you trap?
The trappening, yes. Oh my god. All right. TM. We gotta get the horse or section on this fast.
Guys, I'm
Hey,
ready.
John, you got to be
Stand by.
writing this shit down.
Yeah.
I want to see that finger. Texting Eli right now.
Oh man.
There it is.
No, it's like-
Would you recommend it, Casey?
Nah.
Rachel?
Maybe on VOD.
John?
I'll say no.
I'll give it a flaccid yeah. You know, like on a silly night in, sure. If you like silly things,
Oh, well, okay. If we can do that, yes.
I don't know. Fine, no. I don't.
I was like, this
Hey,
is a
John,
bigger plot
I don't know.
twist than the movie itself.
John,
Because
I
I'm
don't know if
like-
you know this,
because-
but we can do what we want.
Yeah.
Because
fair.
often I hate on movies and I'm like, I don't know who would like this. Like, I think there's people who are like, I think I just was.
Yeah.
Look,
This is not a
all
me
of the
movie.
people on dates
A
with
fine
me on
sit is
Sunday
the-
night.
Yeah,
Correct.
I'm
It's
sure they had a
correct.
great time.
Yeah.
It is a fine set. It's not a
Yeah.
bad set. It's not a great set. It's
Mhm.
a fine set.
Fine.
Yeah.
It's right down the middle.
And if
Sit
you have
wise.
anxiety issues like me, bring some Xanax.
There you go. If you don't like, first date anxiety, yeah.
This
Yeah.
is like,
For the
I refuse to watch Meet the Parents, any of those movies, because the entire thing is this. It's
Mhm.
just forced awkwardness for 2 hours. Like, I don't
they're
Yeah.
pretty
I don't wanna
funny. I
see
mean,
that.
to be fair.
find this thing funny. I find it like it gets on my nerves.
Well, yeah, this wasn't this. I meant Meet the Parents.
See, I'm
The
glad
first
it's
I'm
one.
talking
closed.
about Meet the Parents.
Oh,
Wow.
okay.
I don't like watching other people in awkward situations, John.
Speaking of, have you
too
guys
much.
been watching The Righteous Gemstones?
Yes.
This
Oh, I
season
need
is at
to.
it's at like 11 of awkward. It's truly some of the craziest shit.
I haven't watched last
dialogue-wise.
week's yet or this week's yet.
It's
but
this the most recent episode is one, or I guess it's the most.
I feel like I
recent,
need to
it's
watch it
one-
because every reel I see about it looks amazing.
Well, it
well,
is-
the last
it-
episode, I got to see John Goodman and Megan Mullally in a whole new light that I didn't necessarily want to see.
No, well, so okay, so that is the last episode. I
Okay,
watched,
that is the
JC,
last
and
episode,
like, I mean, the show just it goes places. You're just like, holy shit! I cannot even believe they're doing this. So,
Oh yeah,
All right, sold.
mhm.
that's
I'm
awesome.
in.
No, it's good.
All right, let's take a quick break and do some fan mail.
Send feedback to info@bloodygoodhorror.com or on Twitter using hashtag AskBGH. Join Patreon to get back episodes and much more. Patreon.com/bloodygoodhorror.
And we're back. What do we got? Arlie says, "Get John a cool headset, Mike, like a K-pop star." I would love that because then I just know where it is. You know, he's so animated.
Mm.
Levi says, "In this lighting, Casey looks like a villain." It's true. It's like, you ever seen Police Academy 6? That's what this is like.
Now you really look like you're sitting with in the theater in the background, like you're blending in.
Yeah, he matches the background. That's true.
Yeah.
These are comments, of course, from our live YouTube stream. Check out patreon.com/bloodygoodhorror for more on that. I'm gonna look at our email, but Casey, you want to start with threads? I don't know if we have anything.
Yeah, we got one question out there on threads from our good buddy Popcorn.Designs. Worst date you've ever been on? Go.
I've honestly, like, a date where you're not dating, like, that's happened to me like twice in my life. Is that even a thing anymore? I guess now it is because of apps and stuff. So I guess that makes sense.
I've been out of the dating game for 31 years, so my memory's not so good. I've killed some brain cells.
Surely Rachel has some stories. I can tell by the look on her face.
Well, there was one that was not going well, and then he ended up I was like, we got to call it. We're done. And then he wanted to go on a second date, and I did not. So he drove the wrong way up traffic, like through traffic. That was a bad date.
Oh my God.
That was not good.
That's the effect you have on men, Rachel. It's, you got to own that.
Yeah, I'm powerful. I also had one date at the end of it was like, it don't cost much when you go Dutch, and slid me the check. That was fun. I got a little song out of it.
But like, if that's the worst, if that's like in your worst
I've also been out of the game since the dawn of time, so I'm trying to remember like part the veil of time and look back into the date. I remember it was terrible. I'm thinking of like bad kisses where like turned out the man was like half anaconda and I could feel his teeth on the outside.
Oh, I mean, I've certainly had those.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I did have a date in high school, and I got my first car, which was a Ford Granada, like a 1979 Ford Granada.
Literally,
but
never
the
even
rear
heard of
end
that.
was going out on it. But it worked most of the time. So I was out on a date with my girlfriend. We're driving through the park at night, and I'm in the back of the park, and I turn, put my arm around her on the chair and say, "Hey, do you want to go to the back of the park?" And as soon as I opened my mouth, the back end went out, and it went, and I stared back and said, "I'll take you home."
Levi says it's awful out there. I wouldn't recommend it. Tell me twice, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, tale as old as time.
All right. Is that it, Casey?
That's it.
We got a couple emails here. They're all from Caitlin and Kissimmee. We're catching up here. Episode 306. So this would have been, let's see, probably 2010. Schnars thinks that Luke Evans and James McAvoy are twins. The original Ick. Who is Luke Evans?
He was Dracula Untold. I'm trying to think
Oh,
what else
yeah.
you would know him from.
They do look alike. Well, I don't understand what the problem is here.
Oh, no, he totally looks like him. He very
Yeah.
much looks like him, yeah. Not as cool, but, you know.
You guys
Dracula
have
Untold.
hunk blindness. I don't know what to tell you.
Hunk blindness. You don't think they look alike, Rachel?
I mean, we
Google
cover
him.
Luke Evans a lot. He looks like Luke Evans to me. I mean, I guess they're like the same sort of genre of
Interesting.
dude, in that they're like hunky British guys with muscles.
And like a little
Look,
peanut
Eric
head.
accuses me of looking like every other
You
white
do.
man. So I just feel like Luke Evans and James McAvoy. That's fair. Reasonable.
Yeah, on the Schnars
it for
scale, on the scale of Schnarzlgangers.
You gotta also go back 500
Schnarzlgangers.
episodes. That's what we were,
Yeah.
we were younger people back then. So
All
simpler
right.
times.
This one's better, and this so
That's
episode
true.
312. Discussing Mark using the new Grubhub service. John, well, cry laughing. There's no way you're getting Grubhub to deliver Taco Bell. I don't believe it. What a sage you were, John. You
Yeah.
could have never predicted the.
If only I'd
I
invested.
think we got to
Could you-
start
John?
documenting John's bad takes. Like, 'cause this is two now.
Wait, why? We don't have to because
Wait,
somebody
wait.
else is doing it for
Some
us.
it's being done. John, but
Yes.
imagine you being told back then, so like 2010,
Yeah.
about this new deal that this like payday loan company did with one of these companies to basically finance your meal. Did you see that story?
Yes.
It's not Grubhub, it's the big
is it-
one. It's the
it's
other
like
one.
Klarna or something.
DoorDash.
Oh,
Yeah,
no, I
exactly.
don't-
Something exactly basically like you
I
don't pay for your
did-
meal.
I did read about this where you can like, it's not pay.
Yeah.
So if
it's
you haven't
like,
gotten your check yet, you can still get your food delivered basically.
it's buy now, pay later. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
no,
still bad
it's-
interest rates.
Yeah, I'm sure the interest rate's great. All right, finally, a question from Caitlin. Anyone ever heard of Inland Empire, 2006 David Lynch film that's 3 hours long and looks like found footage kind of, but like from a VHS? The trailer was interestingly uncomfortable, so I had to ask the pros.
I remember this movie. I did not see it though.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't see it. I think I saw
I'm
it.
familiar with its existence, have not seen a second of it.
Mhm. So there you go.
All right, let us look at Instagram. Let's see. Dan Scott Gardner says, waiting for the sequel drop part deuce. That's pretty good. I like that. We got a couple first day questions, which you already answered.
Well played.
Rory, would you kill someone to protect Schnars? Schnars can hire someone to do that for him. He doesn't need to do that.
not a good person, I don't think.
You could hire like a middling bodyguard slash hitman.
I could threaten someone with like, harming their loved ones. Maybe.
You're like,
Schnars
guys,
can
stop-
afford me and
yeah,
my
this
cane.
is like an upgrade
Yeah.
from bum fights. Like,
It's dark.
All right, last question of the night. Teddy Kruger, same premise, but with a T-Mobile sidekick set in 2005, please. LOL.
dude,
like,
I
click,
had a
click, 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 click.
sidekick. That thing was amazing. I miss
People
my
love
QWERTY
this.
keyboard. That
I was
thing
gonna say that had
great.
a full keyboard, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I had the
Yeah, those things were
Motorola
cool.
Q. I don't know if you guys, that was not as popular as a sidekick, but it was like the BlackBerry shaped, and it had the full keyboard, and it was.
I never had a phone with a full keyboard before they went all touchscreen. I feel like I would have thrived with one.
You were straight T9, just T9 and
T9 is a goddamn nightmare.
I
yeah.
had a BlackBerry.
worst.
I was on, that was like when at the very end of my dating career, I was like on the apps with my sidekick. So like, you could just,
You know those little ones where you just like do this, you go, was it like this? You like flip it up, you
pop
flip it out.
The screen would flip around.
Oh, it went
yeah.
sideways?
It went,
That was the
Oh.
sidekick, Eric. It
Yeah.
I'm
kicked
thinking
to
of
the
this one.
side.
It's like where you just do this and it's like, it's like that. It's
I
almost
think
like a...
it's literally in the drawer right in front of me.
You know what's similar to that I do own is a PSP Go. Do you remember that? That had a like thing where the screen slid up and that's where the controls were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had
cool,
one. Work used to give us those phones that had the walkie-talkie built into it. Did you guys ever have those? Those
Oh,
are fun.
they would send, when you were on call, we'd get one of those.
Yeah.
I can't remember what they were called, but you would hear in the middle of the night, I'd hear the chirp and I'd be like,
Don't it?
motherfucker.
Oh, I remember.
feel
they were
like
like yellow, right? They were like,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
What are
I
they
genuinely feel so old because like lately I feel like every time I'm typing on a phone, I'm just mishitting like every other letter.
Hook 'em
Often
up,
to
bro.
the degree where the autocorrect can't even make sense of it.
You,
I mean, you guys
you
have seen my
defeated the
text.
autocorrect, all in the framing.
It makes me feel 100 goddamn years old. And I remember once sitting in a meeting with a news director I was working with, and she had these like, first of all, she had the glasses with the like hang thing, and they were like on her nose, and she's typing like this, and I look over, and she's got the biggest keys and text on her phone. I didn't even know you could do that. And I had it that way for a while, and then somebody made fun of me, and then I put it back. And now I'm just out here struggling every day. It's hard out here.
You know what? Embrace it. Get into it. Go big. Go big or go home. Just
I don't know what that means. Like you think big text.
like whatever setting you needed to do, go big. Go for
Yeah.
it. Embrace it.
I would probably make fun of you, just to be clear, but that's fine. You do what you got to do.
I'll pay someone to to threaten.
You can talk. Do you do the talk text? Like I know people that do that, and
Yeah, but that sucks too. Like that, I should get really enraged when it can't interpret what I'm saying.
Oh, well, you need to enunciate.
I had a lot of rage lately, John.
Yeah, I've noticed.
I'm seeing a pattern.
My mom texts me a lot of audio clips, but it's not her. It's just like the TV on in the background.
Oh. Yeah.
She's butt dialing you voice memos. God damn, that's amazing.
We get like one of those from my mom every like month or so. It's just,
Yeah.
and then she'll be like, I don't know what happened. And you're like,
Yep.
I got an idea.
My favorite thing my mom does is she has a memoji, and like she spends so much time designing it. It's fucking perfect. It's so adorable, and she'll just send back like, "Hey," like I'm like, oh,
That's so cute.
My mom has one of
Amazing.
those too. My mom the other day, the latest crisis we had on the iPhone is she had figured out or accidentally clicked something to reply to a text to me. And you know how on iOS it opens up a separate screen.
Yeah.
She didn't know she was in a separate screen, and so I went back to the other screen, was texting her stuff, asking her questions, and I kept hearing ding. So I finally go back, and there's just a couple lines of her. Why are you answering me?
Oh boy.
All right. What's next week? Do we know?
Well, Sinners.
Yeah.
Ooh,
But
What is that?
This is the
You
big
have-
Ryan Coogler, you know.
Are you going to be able to record?
Yeah, I
'Cause
thought you were saying you-
traveling.
Oh, I am traveling next week. Oh yeah. All right, TBD. We'll figure it out. All right. That does look cool. It's got like from Dusk Till Dawn vibes, sort of like a
Yeah.
modern
Little
kind of
bit,
version of that. Yeah.
They're
gangsters.
expecting big things at the old box office. So
Really?
yeah, I've seen a couple
Interesting.
good articles.
Who's this
Yeah.
director? What would I know him from?
Creed.
Black Panther, like
Black
a little
Panther.
film called Black Panther.
I don't watch Marvel movies, John.
Did you see Creed? I mean, Creed is
Creed's
I haven't seen
excellent.
Creed either. No.
Um,
Rocky does nothing for me.
Fruit. I dare I ask Fruitville Station.
Yeah.
And no, I don't think I've seen this guy's movies. Let's
Oh,
see.
my Lord.
Less happy movie made in my neighborhood.
Nope, I have not seen a single one.
You should check out Creed. I mean, if you're not gonna watch Black Panther, definitely Creed is awesome.
Yeah.
He did the second one too, I think, or did he just write the second one?
I am about to
remember.
fly, and as we covered, I pretty much only watch Marvel movies on planes because what else am I going to do?
Black
I'm
What?
just
But like,
Get
what
into it.
Marvel movies are you watching if you haven't watched Black Panther at this point?
I watched one of the Avengers last time I flew.
All right, just cue up Black Panther. It's better than most of the Marvel movies.
Oh yeah, it's great for a Marvel movie.
I agree.
Okay, I'll take your word for it.
It's actually
It's probably not
3
still
piece.
in the plane thing. Also, they're literally already. They called me today. They already know this plane is overbooked, and they're trying to get people off of it. I don't fly out for a week. I'm like, Jesus
Oh, no.
Christ. Get your shit together. Yeah, that seems like a bad sign. All right.
So helpful.
If we have any listeners that are going to the NFL draft in Green Bay, hit me up.
Ethan,
I won't say why, but soon I got them set. They're all set. People should shoot me a message though if they're gonna go. All right, that's it. Next week, maybe a show, maybe not. TBD. Rachel, where can people find you? We haven't said that in a while.
Well, if you want to listen to more of these hot takes, you can always find me on the More Deadly podcast. Our episode going out, the episode that's out now, shit, I can't remember. That's not good. Next week, it's going to be the ugly. Oh, no, it's Freaky Tales. Freaky Tales is out now, which
Ooh.
we talked to the directors. Super fun movie.
Yeah.
Like, if that's on the plane, watch that. It's great.
What is this movie? Can you give
It
me
was
the,
like in the theater for a week, right? I swear to
Yeah.
God, it got like the smallest.
Can you give me the
release.
elevator pitch on it? Because I can't figure out what
Sure.
it is exactly.
It is 4 interconnected stories that take place on essentially on the same night in 1987 East Oakland. And they
It's horror.
No, but it's kind of it's more like a Repo Man or a Big Trouble in Little China, kind of like magical
Genre-y.
realism in an urban setting.
Mhm.
And it stars Pedro Pascal and Ben Mendelsohn, and it's these sort of magical realism takes on real things that happened in Oakland. It's super, super fun. It's gory. It has an incredible cast. The music is great. It's super, super fun. So that, and then next week we have an interview with the director of The Ugly Stepsister, which is my #1 movie of the year so far. So yeah, it's great. It is a body horror take on the Cinderella story from the perspective of the stepsister, with lots and lots of like gruesome body shit. It's excellence.
Is that
That
getting
sounds good.
theatrical?
I think it is, and then it's coming to it's getting theatrical this week, and then it's coming to Shudder probably in a couple of months. And it's great. It's so good. So if you want to find me, I'm on More Deadly. If you want to slide into the DMs, I'm at ZG Podcast or at Rachy Pants.
Love it. All right, y'all. That's going to do it. Hope you enjoyed the show, and we'll talk to you next week.
See you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.